Gigi sir, can we say a hello to you, please? And a namaskaram
good morning,
to you.
Good morning, all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for your huge leadership and support.
Thank you.
Raju sir and Jayashree ma'am.
Sir. Good morning, sir.
Thank you, sir. Right. So on my clock, it's 9:58. So do I have the permission to start? Okay. So let's get started. Very good morning, all, and especially our young friends at CET, Dr. Gigi sir, CET top management, our alumni the world over, and our CETAAC friends in particular for the huge support to this team for getting this started. CETA Chennai chapter is happy to announce the start of an engagement with CET IEDC cell to support its entrepreneurship development program. To be precise, CETA Chennai chapter will roll out a structured entrepreneur development module, and today marks the launch of the phase 1. I'll keep it short. Good luck to all of us, and let's start this journey. As Sunil said a few minutes ago, east to west, CET is the best. One more point. Let's all keep in mind that today is Gandhi Jayanti Day. And remember his most powerful statement, be the change what you want to be. Thank you so much. And over to Tarun. And let's start this journey with all your blessings of everyone worldwide, and Gigi sir and the CET term management in particular, and our young friends. Thank you all. And Tarun, I hand over to you for that first wonderful question that you have for all of our young friends at CET. Over to you, Tarun, for a minute. Yeah, Tarun has put up something interesting here. For all our young friends, what is your favorite career path post passing out of CET? That's a very interesting. Tarun, what are you getting us into? Brilliant. Okay, so all my young friends, we've got about 90 of them on board here, or maybe about 85 of them on board here. All our young friends, your hands, who's got the fastest finger? And let's see what happens now. Passing out of CET. That's a very interesting. A corporate job as of now seems to be 7%. Nobody wants to get into teaching. Brilliant. That's amazing. Higher studies and research is 33%. Setting up my own company is 48%. And a government job, 11%. I'd like to do that sometimes, I think so, after retirement. But not for the young, energetic men at CET. The young men and women at CET. So we're happy to share with you. We're across 101. Thank you, Afzal, Munawar, and all, and including CET team. Thank you so much. But we look forward to larger numbers. Okay. So, yep, that's it. So can I move on, please? Can I move on? Let me, at this point and juncture, welcome our current President CETAAC, Biju Thomas, to give his message. Over to you, Biju.
A very good morning to all of you. On behalf of CETA Chennai, I extend a hearty welcome to Dr. Gigi, respected Principal CET, Dr. Jayashree, Secretary of CETA, senior management and faculty members of CET, my dear friends and members of CETA Chennai, members of other CETA associations, and current student friends from CET. It is a great honor and privilege for us at CETAAC to partner with CET and IEDC in this ambitious venture, which we are kicking off today on this auspicious day, the birthday of the father of our nation. Very appropriate too, in a way. Ideally, we would have loved to do this launch program in the big hall at CET. But unfortunately, in the post-pandemic world, we have to rely on Zoom to bring us all together. I look back when we set up CETAAC a decade ago, one of the principal objectives was to contribute our bit to improving CET. We at CETAAC have been involved in various CSR projects in and around Chennai for many years, but we have been also looking for an opportunity to give back to our alma mater. In recent years, we have been receiving feedback from various sources that many of our students passing out from CET in recent years are somewhat lacking in exposure and various real-world skills that the corporate world is looking forward to when they hire somebody, or even for success in their own ventures. This sparked the idea of creating a structured module to expose the CET students to the various aspects involved in developing strong leadership skills and entrepreneurial abilities by leveraging the experience and expertise of our CETAAC members. The working group led by Shyam Kumar and Rajesh Achudan, and under the able guidance of our founder president and current president emeritus Sunil Varghese and Mr. Shaji Koshi, have done a wonderful job in putting this together. We are very grateful to Dr. Gigi and the senior CET team for accepting our proposal. And we, the executive committee and senior members of CETAAC, are fully committed to the success of this project. If this program succeeds in igniting the entrepreneurial spirit, and even in a fraction of the CET students taking part in this program, it will become a great success and an inspiration for the coming generations. Now I hand you over back to Shyam and his team for the rest of this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Biju, for that very sharp and incisive message and our commitment of CETA chapter to this cause. Let's get straight down to the program, and I'm quite happy to see Munawar and Afzal, our 114 team members. That means we must be having 100 plus in terms of students. So that's a great start. And right time for us to get down to that program. It's all about the power of entrepreneurship. So let's see what it is. Over to you, Tarun. Let's see the power of entrepreneurship. 3 minutes, let's see what we have, what Tarun has in store for us. Tarun, the video, please.
Here's to those going after their dreams. The dream chasers, the entrepreneurs, the self-made, those who sacrifice today for a better tomorrow. Here's to the creators, not the fakers, but the makers. Here's to the workers, not the talkers, but the walkers. Because it ain't easy going after your dreams. It's not easy going against the grain. It's not easy fighting through challenges. It's not always easy working on yourself, but it is always worth it. What does it mean to be an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is a label that is earned, not given. An entrepreneur is someone that creates things that didn't exist before. Someone that sacrifices a lot now for a better tomorrow. Someone who believes in their dream, even when no one else does. Someone who doesn't settle. Someone who isn't like the majority. Someone who goes against the grain. Someone who pushes through the pain of defeat, the pain of failure, the pain of rejection. An entrepreneur is never focused on the fame. The focus is always on providing something of immense value to the world. When you add value, you always get rewarded. An entrepreneur is not like everyone else. In fact, being like everyone else would be the ultimate failure. A lion, not a sheep. A leader, not a follower. An entrepreneur is someone that makes no excuses. Their focus is always on the end goal. And if that means smashing through 1,000 obstacles along the way, if it means taking the rocky road uphill, if it means starting over and over again, that is what will be done. It's the whatever it takes mentality. I will not stop. I will not give in. I believe in my dream. My dream will be realized. Don't just dream, plan. Don't just plan, work. Don't just work, outwork everyone. Dominate. I am an entrepreneur. I lead, I don't follow. I create, I don't procrastinate. I don't talk, I work.
Thank you, Tarun, for that inspiring video. And all my young friends, I hope this sets a tone for you. Tarun, we'd love to see the next slide, which re-emphasizes the power of ownership. Point number one, for all of you, did you know that MSMEs in India contributed 30% of India's GDP? India's entrepreneurs, keep that in mind. You take any economy across the world, including the US, where the world rests on the shoulders, the economy rests on the shoulders of the Indian entrepreneurs, and that's what you are. Point number two, did you know that the most common trait of all leaders across life is an entrepreneurial mindset? Please ask that to Gigi sir, and he'll start smiling on this. This is something that I would like to emphasize. If you ever thought that the successful leaders in corporates were just corporate leaders, you're completely mistaken. They are entrepreneurs of the first order, because that's the only way you can make sure that your company succeeds materially with huge profits. Point number three, and now comes a bombshell, my young friends. This is the point that I want to emphasize, and why CETAAC as a team has chosen this program, the power of entrepreneurship. What is it? Did you know that 90% of the jobs today will vanish or be redundant? Not the next 20 years. 20 years is a conservative. They say in the next 10 to 15 years, we'd all be nowhere and we'll not have a job at all. That point four is the key. The issue over here is that point number four, who will survive and who will succeed? Let me tell you without batting an eyelid, and the one entity, that one set of people who can make it to the next stage of life is the entrepreneur. My young friends, please note this point, and this is exactly why CETAAC chapter has taken this as a project. Point number five, why do you think so? Very simple, the answers are staring at us in the face. An entrepreneur is the one who knows how to innovate against the turbulence of life and find solutions to get to the next stage of life. Point number six, therefore comes a final message from CETAAC chapter. Please take charge of your life now. And the most important thing to start is to develop the first phase that CETAAC would like to really focus on, is for all of you to start an entrepreneurial, build an entrepreneurial mindset. And last, my dear great friends, here we are, and grab this opportunity now where CETA Chennai will mentor this entire opportunity. And that's just one slide to re-emphasize the power of entrepreneurship. And that's it from my side. Thank you. At this stage, I think all our young friends, Munawar and team, amazing youngsters out here to make CETA, CET, East to West, to be the best. Let's grab this opportunity, and let me hand over to Rajesh Achudan to get you into how we as a team have put forward or putting together a structured module to take this program forward. Over to you, Rajesh. Thank you.
Thank you, Sham. Good morning, everyone. Hope I'm audible. So let's see, people might be thinking, the students might be thinking, these uncles have been talking for 20 minutes. So what is in it for me? So let's see what we have put together for you. So what I want to give a short message at the beginning is we are not para-dropping a program onto you. So the core group have spent close to last 3 months understanding the current situation in CET and the Kerala startup ecosystem. So we have spoken to all the key players in the ecosystem in the Kerala startup, and we have arrived at certain conclusions, or these are the key insights that we got. That is, students need a program which will take them through a work-based or experience-based learning. So we can't teach entrepreneurship, or you can't pick up entrepreneurship through classroom sessions, right? And it would have been very easy for alumni associations like ours to come in, give 3 lectures on some particular topic on communication, etc., and then vanish. So we know that, or we understood by talking to all of you, including our students, that that is not what will help to set this up, right? And the very thing that we came across or decided is that what we need to bring in is a mindset change. It is not about talking about entrepreneurship. We need to develop that mindset change within ourselves, we included. So to be honest, during the last 3 months, we also have been learning while putting this together. Now let's see what is coming up, right? So as engineers, all of us would be wanting to see straight lines, right? We all came to the college. Even now, people are coming with those large T scales, but seldom the life of entrepreneurs are a straight line upward trajectory, right? There are ups and downs. It's a serpentine path. So our program will simulate that for you. So to make it easy, we have chunked our entire journey of the offering into 4 phases. The first one is rightfully called launch. And what we are doing today is exactly that. We are launching this program, and you would have got a survey link from Munawar and team from the IEDC. So that survey is very important. That will help you get into this program. So that survey, you need to complete it today. The drop down date for that is today, and it should be in by 9 p.m. So there are 2 things that we will do with that survey results. We will shortlist who all can get into it. We will look at what is your passion, what exactly do you want to do in life, etc. It's a very simple questionnaire. Go through that. Based on those inputs, we will shortlist the areas that we should work on. Like majority says we want to look at, let's say, last mile connectivity, so we should get into something on transportation. Somebody says I would like to solve the problem of credit availability amongst low income group in tier 3, tier 4 towns, so we should look at a fintech product. So those kind of things, right? So we will like to know what are the areas of work and who are those people who are really keen to get in. And the second phase, we call it as warm-up, right? So why we are doing that is, as I said before, the current situation where we are all in, right? The way we grew up in Kerala, it's all about, I need to get onto a job. Now, slowly that is changing. That poll, what we saw today, was very refreshing. A lot of people wanting to get into the entrepreneurial journey. So we will warm you up through a program called Learning Through Conversations. So the idea here, as I said before, is you can't get this learning in classrooms, and it has to be through talking to experts and asking them the right questions. So that is what we intend to do through this. And we have tied up with a company called Mensa, and you would be pleased to know that Mensa co-founder is a CET alumnus of 94 batch. Anand is with us, so I will also hand over to him after 5 minutes to talk about that program a bit, or the platform a bit. So there are 4 stages that will happen within that. First is an orientation, how to use the platform, how would you want to go through the journey. We would like to know what are your ambitions, and then we will also connect you with a lot of mentors so that you can pass through the journey without any problem. And there will be a lot of alumni entrepreneurs talking to you on how to navigate through these hardships, right? So that is very important. If you ask me which is the most important phase, that is phase 3. That is when we will take you into a live environment. Now, the input for this would again come in from the survey that you're filling. So you would have selected which area or which work stream, like as I said, the micro lending solution or last mile connectivity. I'm just saying 2 examples, not that all of you should get into that. So if people talk about that kind of solutions or that kind of areas of interest, we will have mentors coming from those areas. So for ease of governance and managing, what we intend to do is we'll split the group. Let's for ease of explanation, let's assume there are 20 students who get into the program, and each group will have 5, and that's supposedly a homogeneous group who have selected a common topic to deep dive, and therefore there will be 4 such groups. And what we will do is we will attach a mentor to that group, that each group. One group will have one mentor, and that mentor will be selected based on his expertise and the subject that you have chosen. So that's how the mapping will happen. And the entire idea is progress through this journey of problem solving through a period of about 16 weeks. So this now it might sound too long, but that is how it has to be done. I'll tell you why in the next slide. And interestingly, we will not make it boring at all. There will be every week we'll set up interaction sessions with your mentors. And if you want to do more frequently, you are most welcome. So Mensa platform would have a periodic, as in every 7 days, you will talk to your mentor. If you want to go more often, please do it. And at the end of the 16th week, we will have a big demo day. That is when each group will come and present how good the journey was. What have they come out with? We are not saying that you would have had a complete product ready. Excuse me. What is more interesting is how did you go through the journey, right? And how what are your learnings and how far have you progressed in solving customers' problem? That is what we are looking at. And there will be, of course, attractive rewards for people who went through the journey in a very systematic way and who have progressed really well. And some of the rewards that we have in mind to start with are internships, one-on-one interaction with profound founders who are successful, etc. So that's the intent. And phase 4 is an accelerated program. Why I have graded it out now is it is still work in progress. We are talking to a very renowned and proven mentor who has done several accelerated programs outside the country and an internationally acclaimed person. And you can Google up what is an accelerated program. Let's not spend much time on it. We are not yet there, right? The only message I would like to give is we will launch that 4th phase only if we get very good response for phase 3. We don't want to invest in time and energy of this renowned person, bring him here if we are not ready. So I would like to say that we need to go through phase 3 in a very successful way to get the phase 4 activated. Now let's deep dive into phase 3 a bit, right? Which is the most important phase in the entire journey, which is all about navigating through a live problem solving. So the key pillar here would be your mentor, but be careful there, right? I would like to caution you that you have to lead. Mentor is there to mentor, obviously, and mentoring is about pointing to the right direction. If you are stuck, he is not going to handhold you throughout. And let's go through an example of how a problem can be solved or how to navigate through the journey. I'm not claiming that this is the only way you need to do, but we want to bring out a few points. We want to reinforce a few aspects of the journey. First is about defining your problem statement. You need to go granular to whatever granularity you can, and always talk to customers or talk to other people who might face the same problem. Like we spoke about microcredit. Is that really a problem in Kerala? Because Kerala is a big urban village or whatever we say, right? There is no really a rural or inaccessible area. Maybe there is no need for such a program. There are a lot of very attractive micro lending companies already. So then what exactly is the problem? So you need to iterate on the problem definition and then look at, is the problem big enough? Many times what startups do is they will start thinking about a problem and then in that echo chamber develop solutions. But is that big enough? Essentially what we are trying to find out is, if I develop a solution spending a lot of dollars on it, will somebody buy it, right? Is that solving somebody's problem? Maybe there is a very frugal, practical solution already. We don't need to develop a solution. Then the most important concept is, don't start loving your solution prematurely. Many times, again, startups, founders think about the fact that, yeah, I think I found a solution, so let me go and build it, productionize it. No, that's not the way. So we need to look at, have I really found the solution? Let me test my solution. Let me talk to a few customers, potential customers. What do they feel about the solution? Will they adopt it? And then only start spending money on developing your MVP, that is a minimum viable product. And don't even think about scaling. You need to really get the product right. We call it as product market fit. That will come much later. But the message here is, test your product, iterate your product. And the most important thing here is, you need to also ask, are there other solutions for the same problem in the market? Again, many times people ignore founders out of passion for their problem. They become very product centric. They will say that I am unique, there is no competition, but it's not like that. There are a lot of even adjacent products which can solve the problem. So look at it as, am I solving the customer's problem, a common man's problem, 4 times better than a solution that is available in the market? That's the only way success can come through. And many times it is very difficult to get a behavior change done, right? For example, we are all on the Zoom platform, but Zoom is not the only solution. There are 25 other products, even a couple of them are Indian, but very few people use. I would say 99% people use Zoom. I'm ignoring Google Meet and Microsoft Teams for a moment out of the startup ecosystem. So it is very difficult to get a behavioral change. So you need to solve the problem convincingly. So this is now, don't get into the false impression that the 16 weeks will give you an answer with the product, right? What we want to take you through is a journey that we want to say that you need to stay focused, you need to be tenacious, there will be ups and downs, and talking to customers is a very big way of making your product optimal. So that's the message. And this slide, I'll not go through it in detail. What you might be asking a question, what do I get out of this? So we wanted to leave you with this thought that after the 16 weeks, there will be some learnings. So I'll touch upon maybe the third one, customer centric. I kept stressing on the need for market research. Now, all that we are saying is, talk to potential users of your product to understand whether people will use it, right? So you have to be customer centric, not product centric. That's the message we're trying to give, and be open-minded. You have to be tenacious. There will be ups and downs, and you should be willing to go back, and people call it as pivoting in the startup world. You might even have to erase many of the things that you have done and start from scratch, but that's part of the journey. That's what we want to leave you with, and some of the myths that we will bust, right? So I'll not touch upon everything. And the third one, eloquence is passion. So many people think, if I'm very good at debate, I can become an entrepreneur. No. That's why there is a debating club. Of course, communication is important, but you need to have passion first. and the passion for your customers, and you should be knowing the domain very well. Then comes all these frills like communication skills, pitching skills, etc. You will get to know some of the founders who are on this call. Pranav, for example, you should get in the YouTube video of he facing an interview from Roshan, the way, the calm that he has on his face while answering. So, but the passion and that fire in his eyes. So that is what matters. It's not about being thumping on the table, right? That, and even as investors, when we go and meet founders, like I listen to maybe 4 or 5 pitches every week. Investors will see through it, right? So you can't put up a face by being aggressive. That's not what people are looking for. And funding, many people ask that question, I don't have funds, right? Funds will come, and funds is not a reward for something you did in the past. Funding, if you get, it is based on a commitment that you will do certain things in the future. So don't make that mistake of thinking, I have developed this idea, give me that 50,000 rupees. Yes, that will come, provided you have a journey forward also, but that we will help you with that. Okay, now what I'll do is let me hand over to Anand to take us through what Mensa is all about quickly in about 2 minutes. Over to you, Anand.
Thank you, Rajesh. Good morning, Gigi sir, CETAAC, and everyone else, all students from CET. This is a privilege for me to talk about something that we built as a learning app. So Mensa is learning through conversations, very simply put. And why conversations? Because the experience and learning that comes with experience or wisdom is best shared in one of 3 ways. One is through demonstration. That is, if you are able to work with somebody on a constant basis, that you learn from how people do things. Second is conversations, and third is storytelling. So storytelling and conversations is what we create. So what we are seeing is creating this community of CET students inside the Mensa community, so that we can have our own conversations without necessarily being seen by anybody else in these conversations, so specific to us. So that's the first thing that we can do. The second is, there are a lot of people already on Mensa. The platform has about 25,000 people. It's got lots of people, and it's constantly growing. It's got a lot of people with industry experience, policymakers, all kinds of people on the platform, so you can leverage that. The third is, if there are topics of interest that is relevant for everybody who comes into the program, then the mentors of the program can actually get together and deliver those. So that's one of the things that is planned, is to make sure that if there are common topics, say for example, you want to write a grant proposal, there are many grants available from the government now, then the mentors will decide, okay, this is something that is relevant for all the groups who are there, and then we will create those events. And the fourth is that all these recordings are available, right? So all the discussions that happen, so there are plenty of discussions that happen on Mensa. Many of them are quite relevant to entrepreneurship. So those recordings will be available all the time for you to access and listen to, depending on what you would want to listen to. So just to give you an example, let's take a use case. Smita wants to understand durability testing of EV batteries. Smita then sets up a circle. So a circle is a conversation point on Mensa. So you create a circle saying help on durability testing on two-wheeler EV battery for a future day, right? So that people can join in and help you. Smita then consults her mentor, whom we have identified here and for each of the groups. And then the mentor helps identify a few people on the platform or from the alumni group who can help in this particular issue. Smita also then sends and invites to experts identified on Mensa and those recommended by the mentor. So there are enough mentors available on the platform. There will be enough from the alumni group, so you can send it to that list. And then at the appointed time, a few of the people who have been invited and a few others who saw this circle and said, okay, I can also help here. They all join in, and then a discussion happens to clarify any questions that Smita has. So that's the typical flow. Quickly take you through the features of the program, features of the product. You can create conversations. You can have 20 minutes. So each conversation is about 20 minutes. So to keep the conversations very focused, there is recordings available. You can invite any number of people. People who see the circle can join in and help you. So it's a very, very simple platform. So I would recommend that you download the app and go through it. There are lots of conversations which could be relevant for everybody. So just go through it and you'll realize it's a pretty simple app to use. So the idea is not to get lost in the features of the app, more about what the app can offer in terms of connecting you with the right kind of people who can help you through this journey.
Thank you, Anand. Yeah, what I say about Mensa is it's like LinkedIn merged with, not merged, LinkedIn and Clubhouse coming together. Anand may not like it, but for the crowd on the call, that is how it is. Like LinkedIn is all about career and learning, and Clubhouse is an audio platform. So the best of both have come together to help you navigate through this, right? So it's a quick recap of the program. I'll not go through this, just to say that there are 4 phases. Now, there are some immediate next steps for students and also for us. So all of you would have got the survey, which I mentioned earlier. So please ensure that you complete the survey by 9 p.m. tonight. And we as a group, once we get the feedback from the survey, we would be finalizing those areas of interest. That is, whether you are looking at a fintech solution, edtech solution, etc., etc. And we will also work on arriving at the first cohort of X number of students. And Munawar and team will work with Anand's team to set up the first circle. Circle, as Anand said, is the first discussion on the platform. So these are some of the next steps that we have to jointly progress on. So I'm sure you guys would cooperate with us to make it a success. Now, we also wanted to talk to CET management for 30 seconds to talk about what we would what we would expect them to do us. So one is about facilitating and help remove roadblocks. We understand it's a government college. There could be some roadblocks. So we are sure with the passion shown by principal and the professors in charge, we will get that done away with. So expecting that support. And IEDC, so far we have been getting excellent support from Munawar, Afzal, Hemant and team. So hats off to their passion. And we as elders, we should consciously empower them as much as possible so that they can move with lightning speed on organizing. And the program we will take care, but we need to help them to move with speed that is required. And the other thing many times we have heard is access to labs within CET. So we need to help them get into the labs because the program is going to be very intense. That 16 weeks, believe me, will go in a jiffy, and these can happen only if our dear students have access to the facilities even after college hours. So please help us with that. And there are a lot more programs that we will be bringing, and everything will be routed through IEDC. So we might need some help from you to support Raju sir in that effort, so that there are more hands to share the load. So with that, let me hand back to Shyam to invite Dr. Gigi onto the stage to give us a few words on how he thinks our program is. And thanks for the time, and thank you everyone for the opportunity to serve my alma mater. Thank you. Good day to everyone.
Yep. Thank you, Rajesh and Anand. Happy to tell you that we are ready. There's a structured program in front of you. And let me quickly invite our leader, Dr. Gigi sir, to say his message for this particular program and the wonderful support they've already extended. We'll listen to you, sir. Over to you, sir. You're on mute, sir, I think so. Sir, you're on mute. Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Honorable members of CETA Chennai and other honorable members of CETA, dear colleagues and my dear students, a very good morning to all of you. First of all, I would like to congratulate the CETA Chennai team for coming out with this wonderful initiative. As all of you know, the strength of CET is mainly three: very talented students, number one; number two, qualified faculty members; and then number three, and the most important, very strong group of alumni who are committed to the institution and its students. And the commitment, or the contribution that CETA is doing is mainly in terms of infrastructure support, and also in terms of financial support to needy students. And CETA is giving a lot of scholarships to many of our students. And in addition to that, I should say that from the last year onwards, there were a lot of changes in the way which CETA is associated with our institution. Our CETA members are directly involving or interacting with our students for various student development programs, starting with the communication club, the coding club, the BBC club, and also a team of CETA members are working for preparing a strong master plan for CET, and also a very good team is working for increasing the placement in CET. And this is a new initiative, and I would like to thank the members of CETA Chennai, especially Syam, Sunil, and Shaji Kushi for coming out with this new initiative. In CET, there is a very active IEDC cell. Or before that, I should say that CET has produced a lot of successful entrepreneurs, and many of you attending this function today are very good examples for this. And in CET, we have a very active IEDC cell, and they conduct a lot of lecture programs and other events, etc. But what is lacking is, there is not a focused program to identify students who are actually interested in entrepreneurship and give proper mentorship. And I'm very much thankful to the CETA Chennai team for coming out with this initiative, focusing on that particular aspect of identifying interested students and then giving them continued membership so that they become successful in developing their own company or something like that. And again, if you look at the curriculum, you are also very much familiar with the curriculum. We are actually under a university. There are 150 colleges under the university, and the teaching learning programs oriented in such a way that it's mainly focused on examination. You write the exam, you pass, and then get some job and go. And again, I often say that for a CET student, you always CET students, it's very difficult to fail in an examination, because CET is now just one of the 150 engineering colleges, and we get the best students. But I feel that the curriculum should change appropriately, and I think that will happen in the next maybe 1 or 2 years. And then these type of things, for example, the students should acquire the necessary skills, and entrepreneurship, etc., should be integrated in the curriculum itself. And then I think such a change will happen soon. And also the evaluation process, it is mainly an examination-oriented evaluation. It is written examination. You just mug up something and write examination, and the evaluation pattern should change. And I think the government is also planning a lot of programs, and they appointed several committees to look into that. And I think a change will happen in now say state in the overall higher education system. And I feel that the entrepreneurship program should be integrated in the curriculum itself. And the initiative that you have taken, it's a wonderful initiative, and I'm sure that in the coming years we'll be able to see a lot of job providers than job seekers. And your initiative is wonderful. Once again, very much thankful to all of you, and looking forward to how continued interaction with all of you. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Gigi sir. It takes a level of motivation to the next level, because I'll tell you where we started. Just a second, just to reinforce. I mean, you welcomed us with open hands when we came to you with this program, and we really amazed, your continued and amazing support. And we hope we can do justice to your requirements. And we look forward to this interaction and project, sir. Thank you so much for your guidance and leadership. Thank you. Yeah. So thank you so much. And here's something now that Tarun has put up. Once again, be careful what he's put up, and the fastest finger first. Okay. What's the most important element of the successful entrepreneurial journey? Okay, let's see the fastest fingers first. Perseverance, innovation, perseverance, tenacity, brilliant. Okay, great. 58% is going down. Innovation is taking up. Passion of a founding team is at still 3%. Oh, passion is nowhere. Oh, I see. Okay, perseverance and tenacity is at the top at 53. Innovation at 42. Passion. Okay, so don't worry. We're going to get passion injected into you guys. Don't worry. According to some of us, possibly that could be the driver. That's up to you. Anyway, thank you so much, Tarun. Okay, if I may be permitted to move on. Now yes, there's one more question. Yes. What's the most important element of a successful entrepreneurial journey? Yeah. Okay, just put it up again. Tarun, do I have your permission to close this?
Please.
Or do we wait for a little more?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now let me invite someone, Sunil Verghese, our founding president of CETAAC, and the man to invite him to weave a web of magic to inspire our young friends on the journey of entrepreneurship. Over to you, Sunil. Over to you, Sunil, sir.
Sir, please unmute. Sunil, sir.
Sunil, you're on mute.
Thank you, Shyam. Thank you, Gigi, sir. And a very happy Gandhi Jayanti to all our young friends here. But first, let me give you the bad news. Entrepreneurship is not a bed of roses. There are many thorns. It's a lot of hard work. Sometimes it's all work. You're the startup founder, but you're also the accountant, the salesman, the office boy. You'll be tight on money when all your friends are earning in lakhs. You will have to commit to it for, let's say, 24 months. At that time, there'll be failures. You'll have to get up and start again. But the rose is beautiful. It smells very fragrant because the rewards are great. You are creating wealth. You're adding to the GDP of the country. Most important, you are adding jobs and creating livelihood. You're the boss. An acquaintance of mine, I can't call him friend, an acquaintance. He's not from IIT. He's not even from CET. He's from a third-rung college. Last week, he debuted at the NASDAQ with a valuation of 30 billion with a B, dollars. Girish Madhurpudam, Freshworks. He was an employee in Zoho 12 years ago. The company is only 11 years. And what he has publicly said, what made him very happy is not ringing the bell at NASDAQ, but that 500 of his colleagues who started up with him are all millionaires, crorepradis. It's a very exciting time to be young and in the best engineering college in Kerala. Actually, Shaji and I am jealous. We're among the oldest here. Why? Because experience doesn't count for anything. All standard operating procedures goes into the dustbin. Corona has changed everything. You're studying from home. There's digital transformation everywhere. Artificial intelligence. There's another company in Chennai called Health Sensai. They won the first prize at an international event in Stanford University, again last week. It's called Health Sensai. And what it does is, it's a 24/7 patient monitoring program on a smartphone, which makes doctor's job, probably 50% of the doctor's jobs gone. And you know what? Why they won the prize? They were mentored by Thai Chennai. I think all of you know the Indus entrepreneurs, a very active Thai chapter. Dr. Gigi touched upon this. For this dream to ignite, you need three things to come together. You, the students, we are very glad there are more than 100 of you here today. And hopefully we'll have a good bunch. We've thought about 20, but we can go up a little further if there is enthusiasm, surely. Faculty, a committed faculty, we're glad to see so many of you here, sirs. And like Rajesh so eloquently put, help us remove the roadblocks, and we alumni are all there. I have seen startups in many universities, when these three function together, it ignites. And it's not what you learn in the classrooms. I'm not saying it's not important. But like Shyam said, the job that you're going to take doesn't exist today. So what are you going to learn? You're going to learn through our program, new age competencies, agility, quick thinking, accurate thinking, execution, communication. And I call it the 3 C's. Creativity and innovation, which scores very high in your polls. Obviously, you're aware of that. Communication, what does that mean? In 2 sentences, you should be able to tell your customer or an investor why they should invest in you. It's called an elevator pitch. And 3 is the commitment, which Rajesh kept talking about. You will fail. That's part of it. No problem. You will get up and be stronger for the next fight. At the end of the day, what do I want to leave you with? No big fundas, just 3 action points. First is, of course, you will sign up. Second is you will visit Trust and the Startup Mission. I believe they're doing great work. Trust is just opposite the college. At least visit their website, guys. Read entrepreneurial stuff. I would suggest you start with Connecting the Dots by Rashmi Bansal. It's got a lot of inspiring stories of current entrepreneurs. Those of you who are not very comfortable in English, you have to listen to an English channel so that your communication is clear and concise, both when speaking as well as when writing an email. And thirdly, at the first opportunity, come to Chennai to visit IIT Research Park. Go to Koramangala and hang around the pubs there. Dr. Gigi will give you a letter which will give you an entry into Research Park, or we'll help you. My dear friends, young friends, the future is now. The future is created by us now. Help us create the future for you now. And this bond of SFA will take us forward. Students, faculty, alumni. So 3 cheers to SFA. Let's ignite this dream now. Magically, if necessary. Magic? Everybody expects magic. Can I have Jayashree madam on screen with me? She's my favorite teacher. Guys, put on your video and look into my eyes. They're not the prettiest of eyes. It's very easy to read minds, Jayashree madam. I can read your mind, but it's much more difficult to impose my thought onto your mind. Shall we try? Everybody can do this, all right? So please focus, look at me. Madam, are you ready? Take a deep breath. I'm not going to change you. If I change you, I'll change you into an entrepreneur. That's better. Take a deep breath and think of a number from 1 to 9. Any number from 1 to 9. Everybody can do this. 1 to 9, any number. Madam, you want to change your mind? You can change it now. Otherwise, multiply that number by 9. Now you get a new number, 2-digit number. Forget your original number, add the 2 digits together. You get a new number. Madam, stretch out your right hand. Stretch out your right hand. I can't see it. Ah, nice. Nice. Touch mine. You got 5 fingers like the rest of us. Subtract the number of fingers in your right hand from the answer that you get by adding the 2 digits together. Keep your hand there, madam. Now you get your final number. Are you ready? You chose a number, you multiplied it by 9, added the 2 digits together, subtracted 5 from your answer to get your final number. If your final number is 1, your letter is A. If your final number is 2, your letter is B. If your final number is 3, your letter is C. If your final number is 26, your letter is Z. Madam, are you ready? You have a letter corresponding to your number. Now forget everything else. Think of a country, not a city or a state. Think of a country which starts with that letter. Any country, big, small, Asia, Europe, anywhere. Any country which starts with that letter. Madam, are you ready? Take the second letter of the country and think of an animal, any animal, big, small, any animal which starts with that letter. Now stretch your hand, madam, please, towards me. I'm going to read your mind. But Dr. Jayashree, there are no elephants in Denmark. They're all in Trichurpuram and in Thekadi Wildlife Sanctuary. Thank you.
Sunil sir, kya magic, kya jadoo kiya bhai sahab. Adipoli. Madam, correct answer, Ano?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, thank you. Fantastic. Yeah, now we were scared that he would transport you to Chennai. Gigi sir, no prashna. Anyway,
I'd love to do that.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Ram sir, one last word. We don't need one Shamil Abdullah and one clue track from CET. We need many more, and we are there. This is one CETian who's just got funding of $4 million. I read it in the CET magazine. We need more Shamil Abdullahs and more clue tracks. Over to you, Sham. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Before I finish, I have to introduce my friend of 50 years, the chairman of the program, the driving force, Sir Shaji Koshi. I can say only one thing about him. When he joined Royal Enfield, the share price was 300 rupees. When he left, it was 30,000 rupees. Now, after 1 year, it is 15,000 or 20,000 rupees, I think. That is Shaji Koshi for you. M284 that CET is entirely proud of. Over to you, sir.
Over to you, Shaji. Over to you. Shaji will lead the question and answer panel. And over to you, Shaji, please. Shaji, you're on mute. Shaji, you're on mute. Shaji is still on mute. Shaji? Shaji, you're still on mute, please. Tarun, can you help? Can you? Yeah, I think.
Yes, good morning to all of you. Thank you very much. Now the most interesting subject of asking the clarification from the panelists. And thanks to Sunil for the exciting words, and Sham and Rajesh, and thank you, Gigi sir, for your nice words. For us, today the question answer is only for a few minutes, but we are all here available for any questions from any one of you to any one of us anytime. You can send a mail, you can send a WhatsApp to any one of us. We are available for you anytime freely to reply to any of your mails. So you don't have to worry for this session getting over. You can call us any number. We'll share our numbers with you. And Munnar is having our number. Today we have got a great panelist sitting with us with Mr. Koshi Vaidan, the head of the trust chairman. He is a 1995 CETian. So welcome, Mr. Koshi Vaidan. We have got Anand. Already you have met him, Mansa from the Mansa. He is already the second founder in Mansa. He has already made selling his first company. Then we have got Vaishak, our proud Chennai. Our complete idea of creating this has come from actually the Vaishak's energy of creating that one in Chennai. He had to come to IIT to make it happen. And today, Vaishak is available to answer to any of your questions. And we want to get more of Vaishaks from CET. That is our idea of today's session. And we have got Jerry, who has created an app, Polo app, which will help in the construction business and architects to work together. He is from a 2011 batch. And we have got Pranav, who has done a chat tool, who is from 2015 batch, who has created a business to customer interaction to better. So we've got a high-powered team member. So they'll be answering to any of your questions. Tarun?
Yeah, Tarun, you can help Shaji with these questions. Yeah. Now, since it looks like on the chat, we don't have questions. All my young friends, you could put out questions out here, or in the meantime, to get started, what we could do is, you can raise your hands if any of the team members, and Tarun, you'll have to help Shaji out with that, please. Yeah, it's great to see Vishak, Jerry, and Pranav. And Koshi sir, thank you. Where's Anand? I'm not able to see Anand out there. Yeah, that's right. That's Anand out there. Okay, so it looks like the scene is quiet at this moment. Okay, let's see. Munawar, can you motivate your team to? You had sent out some questions to us, but live, it's always best to have to have a one-to-one interaction. And here is a strong set of people from whom we can learn. As a matter of fact, we are going to make sure that these people succeed even more, so that we get jobs with Pranav and Jerry and Vishak. Okay, so there's one hell of a strong team out. Anand, Koshi sir is there to guide us. Okay, so let's look for these questions. If those, Munawar, we would love to have your team asking us some of these questions. I don't see too many of them out here. Okay, Tarun.
Sir, can you hear me? Yeah,
Yes.
I'm here.
Actually,
Yeah.
Shyam sir, maybe the best questions will get automatic entries to our program.
True.
Somebody is asking a question.
Yeah,
Let them
we
say.
have a
Somebody is
question.
asking a question. Please introduce your name and ask the questions.
Hello, sir. So can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir. My name is Rizwan and I'm a mechanical semester 2 student. So I had many intentions of these programs like innovative and all this development. So I first have to say that in our government colleges in Kerala, we know that we have to develop more like labs and all these settings. So I'm asking you that how this program would want finishes or how it becomes what long for a student. Like if I'm a first year student, so I'm to what in third years have been like the job interviews and all this stuff. So how can this help us? So that.
Okay, so your question is, how is this going to help me, and how will I make sure that I am prepared for a job also with this program? Can I request Vishak to answer to this question? Vishak, can you answer? Hey, Tarun, help in unmuting everybody.
So can all the panelists unmute?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think the overall idea of this program is not to look for a job. So maybe the skill sets that you require, this program will give you. But at the same time, I think like for a job interview, the kind of skill sets you need will be different. So here we are going to be much more concentrating on how to bring you as an entrepreneur rather than going to look out for a job after 2 years. So that's the sense I have from this program.
And Koshi, you wanted to add anything to this thing, Koshi?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thank you for that. So with regard to your the question, this particular program, this is a start of developing an entrepreneurial spirit in the students. And currently there are a lot of an entrepreneurial ecosystem which is available within CET and also in Trivandrum, so that you are on the, you can develop your ideas, you can develop your prototypes. As you know, the IEDC is there. So this program typically makes sure that you started in the right place and you are on the right path. And then there is the IEDC and the TBA, and as well as the TrustPark, the Kerala Startup Mission. So there is a lot of institutes which will help you to launch your ideas, develop prototypes. So you have a set of mentors which will be able to support you in this set of activities. So this program would be the right one, and so you will be able to, you'll get the right guidance from the experts who are from CETA Chennai and others. So I think this program will help you to build in the right skill sets, what you are typically looking for.
Koshi sir, you owe us a treat, because instead of giving you raw material, we'll be giving you finished goods. You owe us all a big treat. We are coming. Fix the date.
Okay, can you have the next question? Thank you for the answers. Can you have the next question?
Yeah. Anybody else would like to? I can very clearly see, extremely disciplined CET, which I don't think we were. Okay, we would ask the toughest questions to our teachers. Okay. Then I'll have to motivate you to ask questions. Yeah, I thought I heard somebody's voice there.
So this is Jerry. Why don't we just type out the questions if people are sort of reluctant to ask?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Jerry. I'll voice it out. I must thank Munavaran team. They've actually collected some questions. Okay, I'll put this out to you. One question that's coming up is, on the program, it is shown that a leader is also in some form an entrepreneur. Can you explain it further? Jerry, why don't you try that? Is that a tough one for you? Otherwise,
yeah, I think I'll pass that.
That's good. No, I think we should put it across in the panel. That's a very interesting question. Otherwise, I'll share my perspectives with all of you. Okay, Pranav, over to you. And Shaji, I'm sure, would like to answer that. Okay, Pranav, something there?
I'll also pass, probably.
This is interesting. This is interesting. Okay, the question is that what's the difference between, there was somebody giving Gyan out here, Shamsan. Okay, giving Gyan out here that every leader is also an entrepreneur in some way. He has an entrepreneurial mindset. Do you agree with that? Let's debate it out.
Yeah, my point of view is a little bit different, where the person who have a startup mindset is not really a businessman or maybe entrepreneur. If you call a company a startup, it has to grow. If there is a growth mindset, yes, then there is then that can be called as a startup. And I'm not really sure what how do we define between a leader can be an entrepreneur or something of that sort. So yeah,
I am an expert at reading minds. I think let me read what Rajesh had in mind. The traits of a successful entrepreneur is required in every leader in business, politics, or social sector. Is that what you had in mind, Rajesh?
I concur with you on that. But I think we're headed for an interesting debate. Shaji, you want to say something?
Absolutely. If you don't have that mindset, you will not be able to grow in the organization. If anybody wanted to join even a mainstream job, if you don't have an enterprising mindset, you will not grow in the organization. You will stay where you are there. So it is very important for you to learn this mindset when you are in the college itself, if you want to grow in any organization.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shaji. Sunil, I'll just add a point here, something very interesting. Pranav and Jerry is something very interesting, Just look at it. A Toyota, a Royal Enfield, an Ola, a Tata's, one day started as a startup, right? It's a journey, isn't it, to building a large organization. So I think we can marry two things out here. You as a startup, in the next 10 years, is going to be an amazing Goliath. Okay, so it's a journey where you integrate, and the start point, as Shaji and Sunil rightfully said, is you start with an entrepreneurial mindset. I think I don't mind inviting Gigi sir also to add a few words here. Gigi sir.
Yeah, actually, I was really very much excited about the panel members. Some of the panel members are my students actually. Anand actually, Anand is, I taught him in 1994. I was actually having a confusion whether it is the same Anand and so we were just chatting. Altaf I know, and also Jerry Altaf I know.
Sir, I have kicked me out multiple times.
Yeah. Vishak also we have met in Chennai Park, and also he is associating with our trust park. So, actually, I was chatting with Anand, but I would like to ask a question. The question is, many of our students are actually very much interested in entrepreneurship, but as I said correctly, our curriculum is actually not encouraging or not forcing them to take up such activities. So my question is, so during this 4 years time, suppose I want to become an entrepreneur, actually, maybe after 4 years, or maybe after some 2-3 years after passing out. What all I should do while I am in the campus?
So maybe I can start. So I would say that I would firstly think about how to expose myself to such circumstances. Basically, most of the exposure that probably you get from people around you are probably not enough, because I would say, like, if I look at my friends' peer network, mostly just from CET, I would say that there is very few folks who have got into building a venture funded company. So, to start with, I would think about how can I get into, like, if the objective is to cultivate more venture funded business. So there is huge difference between a venture funded, potentially unicorn aspiration business versus like a small and medium kind of a business. Essentially, a venture funded, a unicorn aspiration business is just pursuing growth very fast, and they're trying to break into an idea which is probably not discovered yet. So if you want to build such a business, then you have to probably get exposure to such circumstances. So whether it be working with a high quality founding team who is attempting something similar, or by looking at programs like Y Combinator or similar, where Pranav has sort of gone through. I think that's probably what I would try for, because essentially, if you look at the entrepreneurs who have made it big in India, right? It's a very small pool. It's a very limited kind of a pool. Like, if you look at probably that whole circle of people who have made such companies is just 5,000, 10,000 people, and most of the information that you probably get are not from that group, and you have to figure out how do you sort of get access to that group, how do you sort of understand their mindset, and that is very different from building a conventional company. So I'm not sure how do you sort of get access to that particular crowd, but I think that's probably the way I would cultivate entrepreneurship, especially on a venture funded business. Yeah, if you are building a venture funded business.
Sir, I'll give you one more action point. Take what Rajesh has done, sir. You and Koshi sir, put your thoughts to it. What we need to add to it. What you can provide, you provide. The rest we will provide. Simple. Then Koshi sir is happy 2 years down the line. He gets finished products, potential unicorns, decacorns.
Thanks, Sunil. Can I ask Vaishak, can you tell your journey of becoming an entrepreneur? Can you tell us, so that the students will get an idea of how you struggled, how you made it happen? Vaishak, why don't you share your this thing?
Thanks, Raji. So my journey has started from CET, but in CET, I was not having access to the labs that I got in IIT. So that is the major difference that I've seen when I came to IIT. I would say anyone who is in the college should start the company during the college, so that they can either fail within that 3 years or 4 years, so they get the experience of failing. So I started just after CET, and then when I came to Bangalore for my first job, I quit the job in the first 4 months. Then I came to Chennai. So that's when I started PyBeam. So to start off, the resources is what every entrepreneur looks at. So you need an ecosystem which supports you from all angles, like mentorship, technical abilities, right? So when I looked at an automotive startup, there was nothing other than IIT which came to my mind. And getting into IIT is a different ball game. Like, either you have to go through JEE or you have to go for a master's program. So I was not having the time or interest to do both. So just wanted to try out how IIT ecosystem works. And so IIT had an incubation cell where I approached them initially. So the struggle has been on, first, like, you're out of college and then you're out of job, and then you have to start something and you're in a new city. So how do you survive first? So survival is the first problem. So when you get into an ecosystem like IIT, first thing is nobody knows you. Like, how do you bring connections? That is where I think maybe CET has helped on that side, because we had a lot of alumni who were inside IIT doing masters. So I'm like okay to say that I have lived in IIT almost for 1.5 years illegally, like with our CET friends, right? So in the hostels. So that gave me a lot of learnings on how to survive. And then getting into an IIT incubation cell was the toughest part, because they were only giving access to IITians in the initial years. So I was one among the few people who are not an IITian, but I made a route of how to bring a IITian as my partner and then start it. So somehow we got into IIT incubation cell. But the difference that I felt was the kind of ecosystem where academia and professors stay in the same campus. The labs are 24/7 open. Innovation is like everywhere. So you go to a coffee shop in IIT, people are talking about startup ideas. So this culture they have built, it is because there are people staying, the students are staying inside the campus, professors are in the office late night, they are working on problems. So this high energy system is what they use to convert into an entrepreneurial ecosystem. So IIT Research Park, if you see, it is outside the campus, but it is connected by a common bridge. So from campus to, so it's basically academia to industry bridge, what they call. So this connection is exactly what has helped me in my entire journey. So right from getting the material for my first vehicle, which I would not have got if funding was not there. So IIT has provided materials on loan. Like all these were, and other thing is like the procedure for buying anything in an IIT ecosystem. If a professor is helping you, is very simple. You want anything to be imported, everything comes to you, and you can build anything. But the business wise, you have to expand outside IIT. So the overall ecosystem they have built is they have professors who work with startups, who takes ownership in startups. So that culture has brought a lot of changes, because initial funding itself, because if a professor is associated with your startup, technically nobody is going to come and question your idea. You have to show the business capability of the idea. So you have got a strong thing, the base done with technical side cleared, and the business side we have to look at how to expand. So this ecosystem they created have created many companies who have gone out of IIT ecosystem and then scaled up afterwards. So the journey exactly is the same, like the mentorship that I got from IIT or the outside world. So I used to work, I used to go for all the startup networks. So started learning from other founders who have failed and who have succeeded. So both of them, the energy is same. The failure and success is not say connected by the money they have. So that is what I found out. The failed entrepreneurs, I know a failed entrepreneur in 2013, 2014, when I came to Chennai. He was running an edtech startup. He failed. So now it is called Ninja Cart. It's $1 billion company. So he has moved from one idea to entirely different idea. So that is where I think the entrepreneurship is not connected by your failures or the kind of ideas that you have. And you being a mechanical engineer, you'll go and build anything. You might build an app, right? If you don't know coding, you'll build an app and then you'll succeed. So this is something that I've learned in IIT, that no connection to what you have learned. If you have passion, if you have the perseverance to do it, then you'll succeed and you'll find a way to get things done. So if you put in a situation where you can't survive, you'll find the survival, with the survival instinct, you'll figure out how to get it done. So that's what my journey has been.
Great, Vaishak. Pranav, you wanted to share your...
I will add something. King Bruce tried only 7 times. Visag made his pitch deck 54 times before he got his first money. Am I correct, Visag? 54 times, 53 times he got a no.
Yes, Sunil. Sunil, my second funding was after 80 pitches.
First 54, second 3, third 1. So after that, they will run after you. Good luck.
Yeah.
Pranav, can you share your this thing?
Yeah, sure. So I started working on ideas, or I started working on something which is different than normally like people would go within the college itself. So I didn't actually sit on interviews. So I was so sure that I'll be doing something else. And
Pranav, you're from which batch?
I'm from 2015.
Branch?
Computer science.
Okay, go ahead, please.
So the thing was like, in like my friends were sitting on campus placements. All of my friends were getting placed. So I wanted to do something different. I don't want to do go in a conventional path where you go to take a job, do something, then earn money. Like that's not the thing which I wanted. So like we built a team in CET, like me, Rabin, Ashwin, like there are like a couple of people who we wanted to work with. We tried pitching an idea to EY, Ernst & Young in Trivandrum. So they liked the idea. They started giving us access to their infrastructure to build the product, and that's where it all started. So the only thing which actually mattered was we just wanted something different than normally people would do, and we were willing to take the risk. So like a general advice which I think I can give to most of the people out here is that you can build companies within when you are in college. So if you like, I have been to an accelerator program, one of the best in the world, called Y Combinator. And if you look at my batchmates, there are 19-year-old people who who are actually doing something very, very different, and they are actually building a great businesses. So there is no age limit, there is nothing previous experience or nothing which will hold you back, or you can build a business within when you're in college. And I would like to answer one of the questions which G sir actually asked, what he can do when he's in the college. So generally, most people, most students in college are not aware of the programs which is out there, or say accelerator programs. You take Y Combinator, 500 startups. In India, there are a couple of other ones. So there are a lot of accelerator programs, a lot of incubators which help people to build businesses, which help people to take their idea to the next step. There are a lot of information out there. Most people don't know about it. Most people are worried about whether I should apply for it, whether I'm eligible for it. And literally if the first step is to apply, and if you could encourage students to apply for such programs, that'll be the very good first step which can be done at college itself. And so my journey was mostly like this. So after college, we started the company. We could actually get a revenue of 1.5 crores in 2 years, but we ended up in a financial crisis. We shut the company. Then I worked at a company called Traction. I worked at a high growth startup in US. Then that's where I figured out there was issues with customer experiences. There were issues with data being outside of a company. So that's where we figured out we could build another business from this particular idea, and we applied to Y Combinator. We got in. Then after Y Combinator, we could raise a round of about $1.6 million. And to be really honest, if you ask me whether I would be building a business like this 1 year back, I would have said if somebody said that you would be doing this after a year, I would have laughed at that, because I was never confident I would be doing this by myself. But yeah, I mean, it's again if you want to do that, there is endless opportunities, endless opportunities available for you outside of college, outside of India, or you can really go and apply and get into that. So yeah.
Thank you.
Jerry, I just wanted to add one more perspective.
Yes.
So the biggest struggle that I have not spoken is being a lone founder, right? So I have seen startups with more founders working together. So anyone who starts basically needs a co-founder, because when things go wrong, you need somebody who can be part as a friend, rather than the co-founders are actually friends initially. So college is the best time to figure out that friend who can be a co-founder, which will help you to, even after getting into a job or you're looking at starting up, this friendship is going to be the best thing that you can bring on the table when you start a company, and that will take the company a long way.
Great.
You
Jerry,
can trust your college friends from CET. Pranav, what is your product and who is your customer? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, to give a little bit of like, my product. So we are building, a customer experience platform, somewhat similar to Freshdesk has built. The difference is that we target companies who are who have issues with hosting their data outside of their premise. So that's what we do at Chatwood.
Guys, in one sentence, he described his product and his market. That's a true entrepreneur. Communication is very good.
Jerry, can you share how
Good.
your journey?
Yeah. So so we are at Colo, we are building like a social network for construction, where you can discover design ideas, service providers, or any materials. Basically, we want to help you take through your entire construction journey of building that dream home. So so that's what we are building. My journey. So after college, I took up the first job at Mahindra. But I think 10 years into it, I figured out like probably not the right choice. So then for me personally, the turning point was, I would say, I did a liberal arts program called Young India Fellowship. It was in 2012-13. So in terms of exposure, that program really changed what I saw. Like it gave exposure to the top entrepreneurs, like I think from across all fields, right, including bureaucrats, historians, all of that. Our faculty was also great. So again, I would say what mattered to shift the perspective was exposure, which I think CET was very poor overall in terms of like what we were sort of exposed to. There was no connections to any alumni. There was I think even our peer groups know very little about how to go about things, how to make choices, all of that. Maybe this has changed because now there is internet and you can like sort of learn anything by going out, right? But during that time, it was just like a disconnected world. So post that, I think I basically took a decision at that point. I mean, what is that space that I want to bet on for a long time? And if you remember, 2013 was early days of Flipkart, and there were a couple of companies which were coming in, and tech plus entrepreneurship sort of really resonated with me, because I felt like now you could build really large companies without a lot of capital. So that was what was most exciting for me. Like you could have a team sitting together and then eventually creating like very large companies. Although I did not have an idea on what to build at that time, I worked with a company who funds these early stage companies for a very small capital at that time.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I work with them. We funded like 3 companies, out of which 2 of them are doing really well. Like if you have heard MediBuddy, Flintobox, those were 2 companies with which I worked in 2013. Now that exposure gave me like more kick to sort of work on something of my own. And between 14 to 17, I had like multiple attempts. None of it worked out. Like it was, I would say, like, I mean, I was just trying multiple things. I tried to build a content product very similar to what you see as ShareChat today in 2014. Couldn't really assemble the team. Team was something, I think, again, because our peer group did not understand entrepreneurship, it was very difficult to convince someone to come on board. So it was very difficult to form the team. Whoever had a job will not quit. And unless you quit, you will probably not like consider it serious enough to raise capital. So I had an attempt on content. Then I had an attempt on daily needs delivery. Obviously, the other part is when you try to raise capital, although I had initial access of investors, etc. Unless, I mean, CET as a brand is not known in the market, right? Like they don't care about whether, but if you are from an IT or like your peer group sort of introduces you, that is a different kind of leverage. So we were not able to raise capital then, okay, and in 2016-17, although very similar companies which were attempting very similar problems were able to raise capital. So I think the learning is there, like the learning for me is basically that you need to build some sort of leverage, whether from your background, your brand, the people who you have access to. It can be very unique based on where you start. You can probably not change where you start. You started at CET, so you still have to like.
Thanks, Jerry. It's a great thing. There are some questions coming from students. Sham, can you get the questions?
Yeah. Munawar, over to you. Thank you so much. Munawar, over to you, please. For all our young friends are wanting to ask, I understand a few questions. Over to you, please, Munawar.
Yeah, I can share the questions, right?
Please.
Yes. Okay. So one of the question is, what is unicorn? And they are asked for Jerry.
Yeah, so see, basically, a unicorn. So unicorns are companies. Technically, they are companies which are in $1 billion of valuation. But the core idea again is something which can grow very fast, right? If you look at how Flipkart has grown in 10 years, they have like completely changed how commerce is done in India. So, so typically a unicorn is followed by something that they fundamentally change about how things are done today. If you look at Facebook or I think other Indian examples would be, I don't know, like ShareChat, TikTok, all of them have fundamentally changed at least a sector and how that sector was sort of and how consumers behaved in that particular sector, or how consumers sort of use that for a particular sector. So I think so essentially by changing the way these companies go very fast, and typically that unicorn in technical terms is value, but it sort of shows a mindset of growing very fast and disrupting a specific area. So just to add here, right, like I think one of the ways to probably build that company, so one way is to obviously you starting yourself, but I personally recommend that instead of you starting yourself, you should probably go and work in a unicorn environment. Because unless you sort of go and work in a unicorn environment, you're probably not getting that exposure to scale. And unless you have that exposure to scale, it's very difficult to have that mindset. Or you have to learn from, I mean, just observation, which I personally believe is very hard. So post my early stints at my own startup, then 4 years I've been working with multiple growth stage companies. My last stint was with Gojek, which is like a Flipkart in Southeast Asia. So basically that exposure really taught us how to think about products, how to think about product building at scale. How do you work together and bring like creators, including design, software, product managers together. So I personally believe a better way is to actually work in a unicorn or a similar company than to go and work and try to build your own companies.
Add one thing, Chairman Sir. He was talking about disruption and scale. You need to think big. Like Suresh Matthews said, think big. That's why I work in a unicorn. In CET, you need to think big. You are in a small town, Trivandrum. And Flipkart, they grew when they announced cash on delivery. It was not a model Amazon followed. Uber didn't have cash on delivery. Ola disrupted with cash on delivery. Flipkart disrupted with cash on delivery. And today, Ola has the audacity to make the electric scooter at 500 rupees booking. Shaji, Sham, Toyota is sleeping, Royal Enfield is sleeping. That's a startup mentality.
Okay, next question,
Jerry.
Yeah. Thanks.
I have
Jerry.
one question to Jerry. One more question, Jerry. Okay. Jerry, you said, better you maybe immediately after your BTech, better you go to some unicorn and work somewhere, and then that's a good idea. Then my question is, in institutions, every institution nowadays we have very strong IEDCs. So what should be the focus of IEDCs then?
So I think in simple words, I would say just exposure, right? Because entrepreneurship probably is not about prescription. So I am not sure where. So if you think about, I think a really good model is Y Combinator, right? And if you think about what they do, they just expose you to multiple people and concepts, which increases the probability that your venture is going to succeed. So in similar because again, for an institution, you have to also think about requirements of at some scale. You probably are not building for just one or two folks, like 100 or 200 folks. I would just think about how can you get this student base exposed to more circumstances, like by bringing, I would say, people who have worked in similar companies, not just maybe talking at a high level, but going into the detail of like, how do they build products? What is their team structure? Like, I mean, what sort of technologies are they sort of exposed to? So a little bit more detail in terms of how these companies function and how these companies have been built. So maybe initially it would be just people, and then maybe programs that talk about maybe specific skills of entrepreneurship, including product management, customer discovery, or user research, or on the programming side. So things like that. So I would maybe focus on imparting skills like that, plus bring the people on board. Yeah.
Yes, Shajikoshi, you were telling something, please.
There's one more question coming from the students, is that after the offline classes, can they get the support from the college? Since offline classes are starting soon, can they get the support from the college to continue this project? This is to Gigi. So
yeah, college, you know, college, we have a TBA, we have a IEDC cell, we have a trusted research park working, and actually, but you know, if some students are focused, and if you are coming with a specific area, we are there to help you only. The only aim of the principal is to help the students.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Encourage some of the students, some of the bright ones, to come to IIT Research Park with a letter from you. You know the director.
Sir, yeah. You know, I mean, I have also
encourage them to come here. They'll start thinking big.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
one more point I would like to add is, I mean, especially the venture entrepreneurship game is a very brutal game, which means like there is not going to be many companies in the same space. So essentially, you are fighting to become one or two in your category. So there is a Flipkart and Amazon. You probably do not know the third or fourth company. So the competition, the intensity, the fight, it's brutal. You need probably the best team that can help you win that specific category, and hence, I mean, and which is why I was saying again that this knowledge exposure currently belongs to a very small group. It's not as democratic as most people would like to sort of believe. Yeah.
Okay, we have a question from Hemant. So Hemant, can you unmute and ask? Hemant?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Please ask.
Yeah, the other question that we have got is that how would you help us to create a semiconductor industry from undergraduate level onwards?
Go to Taiwan, they are dismantling all the plants and bringing it to India. I'm serious. Go to the market, go to the Gemba, as Sham would say.
I can add to that, Sunil. Yeah, I know semiconductor industry, you know, we have you must be aware of the research park working opposite our campus. You know, they have very specific program on chip design and all. So I think you can contact, you know, the people in Trust Park.
So we have Koshi sir.
Yeah, Koshi sir.
Yeah, so I would like to add to that. So we have a couple of centers of excellence in Trust Research Park. One is the semiconductor or the chip design center of excellence. Okay, so there we are focusing on the RISC-V processor development and some of the ARM processor development as well. So there are people who have extensive experience in companies like Intel and all have set up their startups there. So it is a good opportunity for these students possibly to visit. It is just opposite to the CET, and also to understand from their experience. And there also we have the required hardware and the software. For example, the tools like Cadence and ANSYS and all are available there. So that will make them, or they are also actively engaging student projects. Okay, if you want to know, like a couple of months back, they have taken around 70 students for these projects, for the semiconductor related projects. So this would be a good opportunities for students like you to engage early, so that you get both the expertise in that area, as well as you also come to know about how these people, typically they are also, many of them are CET alumni who are based out of that trust park. They have their startups there. So to know more about their experience, how they have built it, and to engage more on those projects as well. So definitely, I think all these things, like whether it is the IEDC or the TBI, who will provide you the platform and the experience, and then subsequently with Trust Research Park, where you can get more research experience. And also there are many schemes now with Kerala Startup Mission, and also the government also has many schemes. So altogether, put together, this will all help you to build up the entrepreneurial, or support you in building up this entrepreneurial path. Because here earlier Vishak and Jerry and Pranav has been describing their hard way, how they have come up. So here now there is also some support mechanism which is available now for the students. And anyway, the idea of the students, that is the primary, and their idea and the passion is the most important thing. But now we also have the supporting mechanism which is enabled by CETA, Chennai and all for this. So to your question, you can definitely visit Trust Park, and then you can come to know more about the semiconductor industry, how it is, what are the programs where you can associate and all.
Thank you, sir. CET is closed, but Trust is open. Go there.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
I just invited you.
As
Go there, guys.
Koshi said very correctly, what is needed is your interest and passion, and there are a lot of mechanisms to it.
Thank you. So the last two questions to the panel. Otherwise, we have to wind up this question answer. Last two questions. Any more questions?
Munawar, can you any more questions from the team? Munawar, Hafsal.
Yes,
No,
sir,
that's
last question. So
yeah,
my
you can.
Vishak sir, I'd like to know more about opportunities in EV, especially on the component side. So could you please, sir? It's for my friend actually. He's like very shy to ask.
I believe Vishak has left because of a meeting.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
So we'll connect with him. Don't worry. You please ask any of your questions to the
You can't be shy and be an entrepreneur. That's the first thing.
Okay.
That's right, yeah.
So
Yeah,
Anand, you wanted to give any final words? Anand?
Yeah, I'll just say.
Anand, just one minute. Just one minute. In our Trust Research Park, we have another center of excellence is in electric vehicles. So there are several startups working there, and from there also, you can get a lot of ideas about maybe in the projects in that domain. Yes, Anand, please.
I'll take up the question that Gigi sir asked, and then I have only 3 points to make. One, there is no better time for being an entrepreneur in India than today. The ecosystem is building, there is money, there is support, and you are sitting in CET, right? I mean, there are 80 batches who passed out before, and people with experience in every imaginable sector. So that's the first point that I want to make. There is no better time for you than now. That's number one. You'll get all the support that you want. Number two, put your hand up. The one thing that's common with all entrepreneurs is that they started, right? So start. There isn't, and we run a channel on Mensa on entrepreneurship. One thing that I've learned from all the people who've come there, and we get a lot of entrepreneurs there, all of them saying the same thing, that there is no perfect idea. You start off with something, you will keep discovering something or the other. Don't wait for the perfect idea to come. If there was an idea that was so obvious, somebody would have taken it already. You have to be there. You have to start reading. So as both Jerry and Pranav have been saying right from the beginning, it's a lot about exposure, right? So you have to constantly be looking out to what is happening outside of the college and the curriculum. It's important to do the curriculum because that's what will give you the base. But equally, be open to reading a lot, like listening to people. There are so much happening all around us, and Kerala is having a pretty good ecosystem that is coming up. So don't miss out on the opportunity that is available to you. And the third point that, and it's particularly true for many of us who come from Kerala, is back yourself. You have to believe that you're better than most people out there, right? I mean, very often you go out and then realize that, you know, we are pretty good people, right? Coming out of CET, we are the best in the state who get into CET. Right? You have to back yourself. You have to believe that you can do the things that others have done. It's not, you don't have to look at it with dreamy eyes. So those are the only 3 points that I want to make. This is the best time. Take it.
Thank you, Anand. Thank you, Dr. Gigi, for the excellent time you have given us for this panel discussion. Thank you, Mr. Koshi. Thank you, Anand. Thank you, Pranab. Thank you, Jerry. And I just want to thank Vaishak also for this one. Students, if you've got any more questions, you can keep asking us in the group. We'll be there to provide you any answers, and we'll be available 24/7 to support you. Thank you. Over to Sham.
East or West? Sham sir.
CET is the best, sir.
SFA Sindabad. SFA.
SFA Sindabad. I echo that. Students, faculty, alumni collaboration is what will get us everywhere. And we'll make sure that CET comes out on top as usual, as we've always done into the future too. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. But before we go, before I hand over to Dr. Raju sir, Dr. Jayashree ma'am, and for the final vote of thanks from Munawar, a very interesting activity we want to do, Gigi sir. Tarun, can you rerun the first poll? You know, just something very interesting data. The number of people who wanted to start, let's see what happened now. The number of people at the start of the program was 44% who wanted to start their own company. I hope it doesn't drop. Okay, let's see what happens now. It's gonna, oh my God. What's it showing? Yeah. Okay. So it's 44%. Let's see. Now it's showing 74%. Okay, but the numbers are also important. Okay, last time, from a poll number of 57 team members or students, 25 opted to set up my own company. Where do we stand now? 17 on 25. That's a 68%. Okay, but overall, I think since the number of participants have slightly dropped, but still we get the percentage higher. Higher studies and research was the second item at 35%. How does it rank? Okay, guys have said, no, ditch it. These guys from CETAAC have motivated me. I want to go and start a company tomorrow. Oh, God save you. Okay, right? So that's number 2. So great. So it's, I'll just, okay, just a few more, 30 seconds more. Last time corporate job was 11%. It's down to 10%, but 3 on 30. It's only 30 people are polled against 57 last time. Now it's 31. Teaching was pretty bad, but it's an exciting area, let me tell you. Okay. And higher studies and research at 13% last time. It's, sorry, 35% last time, but it's down to 13%. Okay. Setting my own company is 61%, 59%. Okay. Against 44 last time. Anyway, I think, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. My young friends, thank you so much. The journey is just beginning. This is just to take a sense of the whole thing. Okay. Tarun, can we move? Dr. Raju sir is waiting. We must, and Jayashree ma'am, for their message, you know, because they've been waiting for more than an hour and a half. No, it's 1 hour, 45 minutes. We have overshot ourselves by 46 minutes. But I hope, you know, the time spent is well worth it to our young friends and the journey begins. Over to you, Raju sir, for your views, for your message, please. Over to you, sir.
Sir, is it audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank CETA Chennai for organizing this wonderful session. And also, they are giving a lot of opportunities to the young students to come up in the startup scenario. Also, I have seen that they are giving much backup to IEDC by their mentorship programs. So at this time, I would like to say something to our student friends. That is, engineering is something, it is not to be studied, learned, and then write the exam and go. Engineering is something that is to be done physically. You have to work in the laboratory. You have to spend most of your time in the laboratories doing experiments, and it is all about the hands-on work. Okay, you have to work hands-on in the laboratories, and thereby you have to create things from your ideas. So this is actually you have to do in colleges. Normally, what I have seen in NITs or IITs, where I have visited for short-term courses, I have seen that the students, once they finish the classes at 4 o'clock, sometimes at 5 o'clock, if there is some extra class, at 5 o'clock, they normally they go back to their hostels, they get refreshed, and again they come back to the campus, and inside the various laboratories, they work on their project. And normally, most of the students I have seen that they have 4 to 6 projects at when they end up their academic year. That is 4 to 6 ready-made projects they have to be present in front of the interview panels. So when outside companies come for interview, they have minimum 4 to 6 projects in their hand. So they make some small projects, and then they give a modularity, and finally they develop into big projects, and they have these projects in their hand to present in front of the recruitment agencies. So that is why they get very good placements at the end of their academic sessions. So this is what I want to emphasize, that our students, please come back to the college after your normal studies. You go back to your hostels, get refreshed, and again come back to college and utilize your time in various laboratories. And I think that when the college reopens, we will make all arrangements so that our all laboratories are open in a 24/7 that manner. So all laboratories as well as the libraries also would be made available to the students throughout the time, and they can utilize the laboratories, and thereby they can transform their ideas into products. And either you can present these products in front of the recruitment agencies for getting a job. Otherwise, you can develop it into a startup. And after that, when you go out, you can make your own startup. And this is what the message that I have to give to my student friends. So utilize your time to practically implement your knowledge. And engineering is all about doing things hands-on, and it is not simply the writing exam and getting a pass and getting a certificate. So it is all about doing the things. So my humble request to students is that utilize your time for this thing. And with that, I once again thank CETA Chennai for organizing this wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you, Raju sir. Thank you for your very clear message to the students. Thank you so much. Jayashree ma'am, you are the face of CETA in the alumni, and love to hear your words. Between Raju sir and you, you're the ones who are supporting us. Over to you, Jayashree ma'am.
Thank you, Shyam sir, for inviting respected principal, dignitaries from CETA Chennai, Koshi sir, CEO, Test Research Park, successful entrepreneurs of CET, faculty member in charge of IEDC, Raju sir, and my dear student friends. Actually, today I'm very happy to witness the start of this project by CETA Chennai. And you know that CETA Chennai is quite famous actually, especially in the social activities they have taken up and executed recently. Now they have come to CET. Actually, it is their kind-heartedness and of course the good luck of our students that they have decided to share their time and expertise with us. Thank you everyone from CETA Chennai on behalf of CETA parent body. Now to students, or shall I call you as the future unicorns of CET? Actually, gone are the days when students preferred to be the job seekers. Pranav was also pointing that out, right? Now there is a paradigm shift in the sense that the trend is the students prefer to be job providers. As Sunil sir pointed out earlier, there can be a number of hurdles before you. But all you have to do is, you have to dream. Remember Abdul Kalam sir's words? Dream, dream, dream. Dreams transform you into thoughts, and these thoughts result in action. So make dreaming as part of your entrepreneurship journey. And only when you dream, you will think of how to materializing it. And when you think of materializing it, you will be able to identify the hurdles that come before you. And some of the hurdles which have already pointed out in this meeting is that the communication gap, maybe lack of some soft skills, maybe the lack of the present trends in the industry. Actually, CETA has been running a number of programs in all these areas for the students. With the help of alumni, it is the alumni who are there running all these programs. We have the communication club, we have the BBC club, Be Bold and Confident club to improve the soft skills of the students. Then we have a coding club. We also have a research club, and we also have some finishing programs too. All these are intended to upgrade the skills of the students. So I request the students to be a part and parcel of all these programs of CETA. And one more thing which I have to tell you is that another quote that is coming to mind is that of Isaac Newton's. Isaac Newton has said that it is one of my favorite quotes. I always use this in many places. Isaac Newton said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of the giants." So dears, you are presently the dwarfs in the field of entrepreneurship. But you have the giants of CETA Chennai. They are ready to carry you on their shoulders. So my request to you is to step on. Don't be reluctant. Just leap on to the shoulders of the giants and look ahead. You will see the wonderful world of entrepreneurship ready to welcome you. And pluck that sweet smelling rose, which Sunil sir mentioned, standing on their shoulders. And of course, try to study that mind reading from him and try to get the Denmark and elephants from the minds of customers. So that's it. All the best. CETA Chennai is ready to ignite you, and all you have to do is just start it, as Anand was mentioning. Thank you.
Great message, Jayashree ma'am, Raju sir, and Gigi sir, and fantastic this thing from the panel. Very interesting discussions, and Rajesh in particular, thank you so much for putting up that module. Anand for that Mensa. Okay, the whole team, Shaji and Sunil for setting it out. But before I hand over, okay, I think we need to listen to this great team of IEDC, Munawar and Afzal and his fantastic gang. Jayashree ma'am, Raju sir, Gigi sir, the sort of work that they did was amazing. Okay, in the last few weeks to support us. Without them, we would not have come to this level. Over to you, Munawar, for your message and vote of thanks. Over to you, Munawar.
Yeah. First of all, it was a great journey throughout, because the Shyam sir and Tarun and other alumni were there to mentor us throughout the process, and they every day call me and ask what's the Munawar, what is the status, like that. So I'm really mentored, and I never gone through a situation or scenario like this before. Even I was there in IEDC. So it was an enlightening moment and a different experience for me and our team, Afzal, Nasib, and Hemant, and rest of the team. And I like to present the vote of thanks also. So we can directly go to that. So respected teachers, alumni, and my beloved friends who are there, I'm really glad to offer vote of thanks on this occasion on behalf of CET and IEDC. I extend sincere gratitude to our principal, Dr. Gigi CV, CETA Secretary, Dr. Jayashree ma'am, and staff coordinator IEDC, Dr. Raju sir, and Press CEO Koshi Vaidyan, and our beloved alumni, CETAAC EC member and Chairman EDP, Shaji Koshi, Co-chair EDP Shyam KR, founder President CETAAC Sunil Verghese, current President CETAAC Biju Thomas, and members of organizing committee Rajesh Achyutan, Tarun Udayaraj, Janardana Kuruk, and Rahul Dev, who worked day and night to make this event a great success, and we are thanking you for your time and effort. Last but not least, special thanks to all the CETians for their keen listening throughout the session. I'm not prolonging my words. Once again, wishing a huge success for this endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you, Munawar, and everyone. In particular, I must thank Gigi sir. It's 2 hours, 1 hour, 57 minutes we have engaged you. And so when you are sitting here out there, it simply means there's something you saw in this program that will take you further and CET further. Thank you so much, Jayashree ma'am, Gigi sir, Raju sir, entire panelists, the entire CET team, and anybody across the alumni who joined us. We're just starting. Let me make it very clear. We're just starting the journey, and we look forward. It's our alma mater, and to make sure, as Jayashree ma'am said, as Gigi sir was indicating, let's leverage this opportunity to take CET further and support all of you to grow in life, to build unicorns. That's the aim. That's the end game, number one. And before I end, let me tell you, as I said, the journey is just starting. All my friends, I see only 53 friends are out here, but those could be the passionate ones. Your registration forms are on Google. We'd love to see what you put there. So the first cohort of 30 students can be selected, and fastest finger first. What we will look for is passion and originality in thought process, and how passionate you're about getting into ownership. Over to all of you, and maybe Sunil for his final words before we close the program. Thank you, everyone.
I just have to pat myself for picking you, Shyam, and Shyam for picking Rajesh. East or West, CET is the best. Let's prove it.
Thank you. Thank you. It's complete teamwork, Gigi sir, I must reiterate, the entire CETA chapter, every team member is out there wanting to volunteer for these programs. So we look forward to this journey, which is starting today. Thank you, everyone. And we close the program.
Thank you so very much. Thank you very much for the initiative. And we are here to provide all necessary support. So we will be with you. So I would like to see the developments, and we will have,
thank you so much, sir.
Continued interaction with all. And I am very much thankful for your energy, the energy that you put. Thank you very much.
No, it's the collective energy of CETA chapter that you see, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and we wind the program. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you all.